Greetings. My name is Diego Knight, and my YouTube channel says Diego Knight Photography. Yep, I got started with photography 10 years ago in Mexico, and well, I wasn't expecting to be a photographer. I've been around over my life, and I used to live originally from Chicago, and went to University of Alabama. Spent some time in Indiana for a year or so, but I went over to South Korea. I was an English teacher, taught from children to adults, taught at a couple of universities, and then now I'm in Mexico, Rosarito Beach, which is just south of the border between Tijuana and San Diego. One of the key things I wanted to do in my life was live overseas to experience the world. So I've traveled around the world quite a bit. And I've lived over half my life overseas. So I'm getting into podcasting because it's a great way for stories. You're able to talk about yourself and also to help other information. When I was in Mexico City in 2014, it was a fantastic opportunity for me to see what I saw back in 1985. I went to Mexico City 1985. And then I realized I had very few photos. So that's why I decided of getting into photography. And it was not easy changing your life, career, especially in another country. And besides that one, I had recovered a stroke in 2012. So I had, and actually still suffer from aphasia, which is you lose language ability when you have a stroke. It takes time to learn and relearn. And I know for sure I'm not going to be back to normal. Even I have times speaking English. But the key thing is just trying to go on. That's it. I've always wanted to learn stuff. When I was in Korea, I used to do martial arts, the Gumdo and Hapkido. And I got involved with a little bit of the film festival in Busan. The International Film Festival was fun. And then when the stroke just didn't want me to, it hurt my life and I didn't know what I was going to do. And my parents were at that time in Mexico. My mother was getting sick. So I decided to go back here to take my mother and then eventually my father, but also I needed to take care of myself. So culture shock was a big thing for me coming over here because, well, when you're in South Korea, you don't see a lot of foreigners. So, and then over here where I'm living in Rosarito, you have a lot of Americans and you see some other people like Canadians and other people from overseas. And so one thing is, culture shock. Culture shock can be a really interesting thing. As I learned about how to talk back to English and meeting people in English, then Spanish, and I studied Spanish years ago. I minored that one in college. And the thing is trying to learn Spanish again, and then just meeting people. So for over 10 years, being photography is not an easy thing, but it's a big adventure. I really enjoy it. I made mistakes, as we all make mistakes, but we can continue going on. As I started with photography, I got with video, and then real estate, folklorical, music groups, live groups, and like Ola Soy Lola, Tijuana Soundside, and just learning about people here, culture here, not just about Mexican culture, but Rosarito culture, music culture, festival culture, and also got involved with sports in 2018. That's why I'm promoting sports, Baja Sports BCs. I created that one back in 2018, and it's almost 7 years, and it's growing. We have over 7,000 followers, and it's a great accomplishment for me. One of the reasons I said I made mistakes because I had no information. Where am I supposed to learn all this stuff? So YouTube is a great place to learn that stuff, and also websites. So I met a lot of people, but sometimes you just want to talk. So I just want to experience life. So anyway, the key thing is I thought of having a studio done several years ago after my father passed away, but I couldn't do it. Now I have my own studio, and And I want to say thank you for Dee Marie. She's the one who helped me to make this studio. It's a dream come true, and we're making this project is be fantastic. And also the key things, I need other people to interview people, and we can share this information. One thing is, if you're living in another country, it can be scary, especially when the language is very different. When I went to Korea, it was not easy, but it was an adventure. And you're able to learn the language. It's a challenge. Now here in Rosarito, there's a lot of English here. But the thing is, you're going to learn certain things that you weren't expecting. For example, real estate, banks here. Also, you're going to have to deal with immigration and what else? Shopping over here. Certain things you can't buy over here. And you're just going to remember that. I remember when I lived in Korea, there's certain things you won't be able to get back in the United States. For example, root beer. Can't buy root beer in Korea unless you go with the military bases, U.S. military bases. But that's it. But the thing is, when you come over here, it's a different lifestyle. I know people cross the border, sometimes monthly, weekly, to do their shopping. For me, I don't take advantage of crossing the border all the time because, hey, I say that I'm living in another country. Where I'm at, this is where I accept. So, well, the thing is, photography has changed my life a lot. So it involves me with different people, different aspects of society. Dealing with journalism helps with that, in that I'm able to meet a lot more people. For example, city hall officials, also with the sports. I've interviewed lots of people, dozens of people from boxing over the years, Mexicans and also international. And to me, I really enjoy that, being able to interview these people right after they just won their boxing match. And then we have other events. There's a big tennis tournament going on. There's a lot more things to go in Rosarito. When I first came over here, I was living in Seoul, Korea. You had over 10 million people, and over here in Rosarito, you have over 100,000. So, big culture shock. But the thing is, there's a lot more here to Rosarito. Over the years, you meet more people. You have to get involved with the people. I know a lot of people, they go to the restaurants like Splash and Pescador and Happy Hour. And the thing is, like, okay, those restaurants are good. But the thing is, I'd rather go out to other places which are unique or brand new places. And that's why going into sports, you go to different places here, but also in Tijuana. And it's a learning experience, but adventures. You don't know what's going to happen every single week. It can be scary, but it can be fun. Then what else am I going to do in the future? Going to continue with podcasting, also continue with the Baja Sports. I now have another page called I in Rosarito for news, because we do know there's a need for news here in Rosarito, because you have over 15,000 Americans who live here, and they need news. I mean, we have newspapers here. A couple of them are in English, but they're only limited and only twice per month. And then we have some other news media over here in Rosarito, but majority of them are for Spanish. So, and the thing is, that's why I in Rosarito is important, because we need to know what's going on, because we live here. One example, a couple of days ago, we had a big rainstorm. And I know one issue is when there's a lot of rain, you had a lot of wind, and electricity got knocked off. So we didn't have electricity for several hours. And what are you supposed to do? And also, with high winds, one thing I learned over here is called Santa Ana winds. I didn't know about that, because originally from Chicago, you don't know about that one. But over here, it's intense winds and warmth. It can be really, really warm, and for a couple of days. And the problem with that one, you have wildfires. I've been over the wildfires over the years, and it can be really scary. And it's exciting, but it can be very scary, because you can come up without advance and warning, and you're going to have to leave soon. And so that's why the key thing is news is really important, and learning more about what to do and help this information. So the other thing is, what I do in Korea, was an English teacher, but also involved with martial arts. And one thing is that's how I got involved with the culture over there. And that's why over here with journalism, photography, meet a lot more people, meet friends. Unfortunately, over the years, some of the friends pass away over the years. So it can be scary living overseas, but it's possible. You just have to explore and need to know where you can go in case of emergency, but also hangouts for that one. Even when I was in Korea, we had a couple of hangouts. So where you can just relax and just think about, reminisce of what you were from before. Also, another thing is homesickness. Yeah, homesickness can be a big issue when you're living overseas because you remember where you used to hang out, restaurants, foods, people you remember. Over here, last time I went to Chicago was like 11 years ago when we had to take care of my mother's ashes. So I do cross the border once in a while, but not that much. So, and now I'm surviving, more than surviving from just a stroke, but also helping with the community. So anyway, I want to say thank you. And I'm going to have more topics for podcasting because it's something else. And the thing is, hey, if you live over here in Rosarito or living in another country, it's not easy. But that's one of the key things is you're here out there. It's a big adventure. Yeah, you're going to make mistakes and be scary, but you're not the only person who's gone through that. So that's one thing I learned, having a stroke, scary. And one thing is, I was lucky to get in journalism. I mean, writing a journal. That's it. Still write, not as much as before, but the thing is I'm able to write. And the thing is you think you make mistakes. Well, we always make mistakes. The most important thing is that you learn. You learn about life. So anyway, this is Diego Knight signing off from Baja Sports BC. I'm Rosarito, and now the new project is called Studio 212. Take care. See you next time.